Hello everyone, and welcome to April 28th, Wednesday in the fourth week in the Easter season. And so I continue to wish you happy Easter blessings. The reflection that I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to kind of take you on a little bit of the journey of my prayer. And as I was preparing for the video this week, it's interesting for me to take notice of how one thought leads to another, and where it kind of all ended up, and how God was leading me to a particular place of reflection for today, which really is about the beauty of nature. That's why I'm out here with this gorgeous tree. I'm here at the church outside on this beautiful day. So my reflection started with today's reading from the Gospel of John, and there was a particular line that struck me. And it's this: I did not come to condemn the world, but to save it. I did not come to condemn the world, but to save the world. And I found myself saying that line over and over. Did not come to condemn, but to save the world. And as I prayed about that, it kind of is basically saying to us that God sent Jesus to the world because God believed that we were worth saving, right? And that even though we often make mistakes, we can be redeemed, we can be saved, that we're never beyond God's reach. God's love and mercy can always find us. So as I was praying about that, I was thinking about just the beauty that is surrounding us these days in nature. Everywhere you go, you just see trees and flowers bursting with life. And I don't think there's any better expression of God's love for us than the beauty we see in nature. It's like this, undeserved gift that we're given. We're meant to enjoy and marvel at it. I just can't help but think how much God must smile at so much beauty. And so as I was praying with that, it got me thinking about gardens and how much dedication it takes to tend a garden. So I'm sitting here outside church and everything is bursting with new life. And I'm wondering about my own relationship with God and how much I have been tending to it. And if we think of a garden as a metaphor for our relationship with God, now is a great time to kind of use the example of nature, use the example of gardeners and how they're preparing the soil these days, and to look inward and see what we need in order to better tend to our relationship with God. This is a reading from Mariana Stalnack. Life is like cultivating a garden. A beautiful, balanced life or garden does not happen without effort. An important step in gardening is to cultivate the soil. Just as gardening is not only about relaxing in the sunshine, we need to prepare our spiritual gardens for the storms of life. Faith can't develop without discipleship and without spending time with God every day. Our spiritual gardens will bloom beautifully when we live out our faith right in the middle of our messy lives. When we tend our gardens daily, we are reminded to shift our gaze from us and turn our gaze to God. And we must remember, as we tend to our spiritual lives, we don't do it alone. the master gardener, Jesus, is right there beside us, guiding and helping our garden to bloom and bear fruit beyond our wildest dreams. I like that reading a lot because it challenges me to really think about how much do I allow Jesus to work with me, right? To help me cultivate my inner life with Jesus. So a couple questions for our reflection. Does the soil of my own heart need tending these days? When was the last time you spent time alone with God? Is the soil of my heart possibly filled with rocks? Things like negativity or anger or resentments. Is my spiritual garden cluttered with branches or leaves or thorns? Cluttered with things like busyness or thoughtlessness or selfishness? Or is it possible that we've just forgotten about our spiritual gardens and it needs our attention in some way? Is the soil of our spiritual lives ready, open for God to sow seeds of growth and new life within us? So I just share that metaphor of the garden. And when so many people are thinking about preparing their vegetable garden or flower gardens this time of year, and all you need to do in order to maximize the possibility of growth in your garden, do we spend that much time in our inner lives in order to help us be as receptive and open to God? What do we need to ask of God to help ourselves open, wide open to the love and mercy that God extends to us? Maybe as you go through this day, as you go through this week, and stop and take notice of the beauty all around you, stop and reflect a moment about how much God loves us, that He sent Jesus into the world not to condemn it, but to save it. And there's no better expression of that than the beauty all around us. So I wish you and all your loved ones many blessings of hope and peace.